Apparently, there were some protests going on in India. Like I saw, like in New Delhi, for instance, there are things are outside what Modi's fucking Parliament building, whatever. And I heard about this because India banned, what was it? I think it was called Bit Chat, stuff like that. Where like they try to block the thing's GitHub source code, which is kind of interesting. I don't know, like, is that legal? Like, do they have grounds to do that? Because they said that they would take legal action on GitHub. The Indian government said that they would take legal action on GitHub if they did not comply with it within 3 hours. But here it is still, so yeah. But like also like they're shutting off the internet for like at least 2 days in India. So I don't know, crazy stuff going on. But it seems like these protests were successful, and there was a resignation of the exam board because there was like the exam guy, I don't know, whatever, because the exams got leaked or something like that. Yeah, I don't really understand what that's about, but or like why that escalated so massively, and why like it wasn't dealt with before the protest, I guess, in however it was meant to be dealt with. I don't know, but I just found that interesting, particularly because it kind of came into the open source space of things. But that is not what this video is about. Anyway, so let's have a look at this first. Just make sure my camera's actually correct, pointing correctly. So I saw this on Twitter. This tweet over here where it shows off C++26 syntax for reflection. Now, the actual post says that the syntax looks abhorrent, and yes, it does look quite quite crazy. But like, keep in mind, this is C++. You know, as far as syntax goes, there's only so much they can do. So this is honestly probably the best that or like at least as close to the best as you could have gotten. And it's pretty cool. Like for example, look here. You can define a struct, right? And then you can attach it as an attribute of sorts with this, I guess this thing equals. I mean, it's different from an attribute tag because it has the equals sign, but it is similar enough, right? Almost like how you would have like a Rust macro, right? How you can like attach those tags with the hashtag thing. It seems kind of similar to that, except the cool thing is it doesn't use macros or like, you know, a separate language. Instead, it uses just built-in constructs, right? So you have a templated function called validate, which can take in any object, which is pretty cool. It has to be context expert because it's reflection, and then you get the context like this with standard meta, which comes from the meta library, I believe. And then you have a template for, which is a new kind of for loop, which, I mean, it works the same, but it's, okay, this is written incorrectly. No, it's just, okay, this code is formatted like really weirdly. Anyway, so you have a template for, which is a templated for, I don't know how to describe it, but then it takes the context per member from a range, and then here you define the static array, which is the range to go over. So you do that. Notice how these aren't prefixed with standard, by the way. I wonder if they're built-in keywords, but you have defined static array, and then non-static data members of with the T, and then you have the context, which you passed in here, right? It is weird how you need to do this. Like have a function for the context. I wonder if you can have other contexts and like what that means. I mean, I don't know much about reflection. I'm just kind of vaguely aware of the feature. I don't know the intricate details of it. But then you have this operator, which I believe is like the reflection operator. So like it takes T, or like it takes the meta of T, if that makes sense. Like the reflection information of T. I believe that's what that operator does. And then you have another loop here with another static array, where we take the annotations, I guess, of this. And the annotations are these, right? So you have range here. And then we have extract, which takes that. So we take the annotation, we give it a type, because I guess we know the type in this case. We do have this nice destructuring syntax, which is not too dissimilar from Rust's tuple destructure syntax. And then we have, I mean, this has existed for a long time anyway. And then we have object dot remember this funky syntax here, and then we can check it like this. And then we can call like assert on that, and yeah, cool. So yes, it looks very complicated, but it is C++, which is what I like. You know, it doesn't use some other language feature, like some other like language. I mean, like you know, proc macros do. It's just built in, which is pretty cool. And I wonder how Zig would do this if it ever gets around. I mean, does Zig support reflection in this way? I wonder. But yeah, it's cool, and it's cool because it means that you can have, custom annotations is one such use case. You know, it's far from the only use case, but it's one such use case, and it makes me think like for example, Bevy uses a lot of macros to have things like, you know, like with the component system, and like to make things like the ECI system to make things more ergonomic, let's say. And I wonder if the same thing could be done with these, right? Would be cool. Other use case I think of is like with web dev stuff. I think as though FX isn't. I don't know. Think of Leptos, for instance, with Rust, which also uses macros for the attributes. I'm not entirely sure what those are called, but I guess just attributes, right? It also has macros for like formatting HTMX, but I don't like that anyway, so it's fine. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and it might make things easier. I mean, as this guy was arguing in this chat here, you could already do a lot of this stuff with macros anyway, with C macros, but like, it's just not anywhere near as. First of all, the syntax is not C++, so that's like, you know, like it has the other, like the different language kind of thing. Yeah, you have to learn that on top of the existing language, so it's like a second language you have to learn, and it's not particularly a nice one either. C macros are not built to be particularly strong, unlike Rust. Like Rust macros are still, you know, not ideal, but they are a step up from C macros nonetheless. And like, even just like with encoding intention, like this is an attribute of range on int_foo, right? But here we just have a vague reflect that takes takes a type argument, I guess, which is a type of foo. But like, would you know that unless you knew what reflect actually was doing? And then we have a range passed in here. Like, it's just a lot more ambiguous what this actually means, right? So that's what I was arguing. And then here is what it might generate, right? Int foo, int bar, and then it puts in a bunch of other things here. You know, but it's like, it's not like, it's not obvious, you know what I mean? But anyway, it's interesting. Its own psychosis. But yeah, anyway, that's got me excited for that. However, I do not think Clang supports reflection yet. I believe it's only for GCC, and I use Clang, so it's a bit unfortunate. I mean, this was last year, but you know, especially with C++ development and how things are underfunded, these things do take time, unfortunately. Yeah. So this is the reflection in use, and like it isn't like, yeah, okay, like C++ definitely has a syntax issue, right? It always has, but like feature wise and like the way that this integrates into the language, I do like it. I think it's cool, you know, like it is C++, which is cool. It would definitely scare away a lot of people because again, the syntax, but C++, if you know, like Rust doesn't fix the syntax issues either, for the record. No language does, as far as I'm aware. The closest language that we might be getting to fixing it is like Mojo, maybe, but Mojo is still like a superset of Python, which means it has to support Python syntax, which, although it's simpler, still has issues as well. So yeah, it's there's definitely a gap in the market for a language that is as powerful as these languages, but just with nicer syntax. And that's what I'm trying to do with my language, and we'll see how far that goes. I mean, I feel like I feel like if someone made the language and like it just existed, like people would actually start using it, but like just no one has that, like, feels the incentive to make it at the moment. Like I do feel like it would catch on, but like it's not easy. Like it is easier to just use C syntax and say, I'm just going to use this and like add features on top of it. Like that is easier to do than designing like a really strong, smart, well-designed syntax. That is something that people don't want to invest in, it seems, which is strange. Yeah, so let me, I mean, I'm not really sure how to test this because I don't know how to use the bloody feature, but let's have a look at, so this is GCC. We're going to use, let's use 60.1 and see if it supports reflection first of all. Contracts, by the way, interesting, got lambdas as well. I wonder what all these are. Should probably look into these at some point. Coroutines? There's modules. Okay. Cool. So, how am I going to do this? I mean, I don't know if this syntax here is even finalized. This is a paper. Hold on. Okay, so we have some examples here. I saw error handling. Meta functions, error handling in reflection. Oh, right. Yeah? No, yeah. Yeah, so like rather than having like a standard expected string, right, an error, you would have a standard meta info, which is really cool. That is one feature that I'm particularly excited for. Because like, I don't even know how Rust would do that with its error handling. So that's really cool. Right, I do need like a some example that I can like do with this. Here CVP reference has SymD as well, which is pretty cool. In place vector is awesome. Hive is also pretty cool. Although I don't know what the status is on that. So let's have a look at meta. Can we get an example of something? Let's take info. No sample. Okay, so let's try including meta first of all. Hashtag include meta. We'll have our main function. And let's go ahead and try something. So let's say int foo equals 5. Okay. And let's have auto meta foo equal this. Reflection is only available with f reflection. Okay, so let's go ahead and enable that then. F reflection. This would be built into like the language, by the way, like without the flag, but okay. It has to be const expr, so const expr auto. By the way, like notice how the feature, like the actual compiler, is being helpful here with telling you what you need. That's really important for adopting these new features. So is it a standard meta info? Is it the type? It is. Nice. Okay, and then I don't know what I can do with this. So yeah, I'm not really sure what I can do with it. There's an example here. This is the global namespace, which is cool. Because like you can like reflect over the global namespace. I did see that as well. It's a bit funky, but once you get used to it, it's like fair enough. Like once you understand the intuition, or yeah, like the is it rating? No. Once you understand the intuition behind why the feature is the way it is, like you look past the goofy syntax and accept it for what it is, because again, I mean it's C++, like you can't really expect too much syntax wise at this point because the language has so much technical debt. So we do have an example here, which is awesome. Yeah, it's interesting. So there are different things it can represent. What can I get from it? Like, what can I access from it? I don't know. Well, whatever the case, let's see if this works with Clang. The latest version of Clang. 22.1. That's ARMV though. Give me x86. Clang. Okay, so there's a reflection there, which makes you think it isn't yet in the latest version. I mean, these are a bunch of experimental versions. Here's the latest actual thing. Yeah, so unknown argument, f reflection. If I get rid of that, not found. Okay, so if I go ahead and find with reflection here, which is this TypeScript and C. Okay, I'm guessing this one then. Okay, so that does compile. Yeah, I still know what I can access within it. I don't know why it doesn't have more documentation. Yeah. Oh, so like the actual thing itself is literally just this. So like if I take decal type with this should work. Ooh, that's backwards, I think. I think it's like this. Yeah. So notice how the standard meta info thing is literally just this, which is the type of a reflection over the global namespace or something like that. I don't know. I don't fully understand how it works. It's like I listened into it before and it wasn't particularly easy to understand, but yeah, there's reflection anyway. I don't know how to use it. Let me have a look at the example that I sent, because maybe it'll give me some hints here. Like here reflecting here, but it gives me annotations of type. I mean, I could try recreating this, I guess, but yeah, not much reason to do that right now. I've already seen how it works. So then some other features here, which I didn't know that they had, like listed here in the compiler. We got string interpolation. Okay, that's P3412. I didn't know that was a thing. Have a look for a later revision. Interesting. I mean, this wouldn't be hard to do, right? Well, I guess it would. Like, would it be implemented via the compiler, or would it be implemented via reflection? I wonder. But that's cool. Because like using standard format everywhere is kind of annoying. It'd just be more convenient to just do F, right? Like, look, before and after. Prefix. Line, like it's just in line, you know, like it's a convenience thing. Honestly, like these are cool features. I mean, I don't know how many. I mean, this is also just a proposal. I don't know if it would actually be put into the language, but very cool. Again, like just to make C++ easier to do. I got pattern matching as well. I don't know how to use the pattern matching. It depends on how it's doing it, but that's a cool feature that I've looked into already. I made older videos where I look into it. Metaprogramming, a bunch of other papers that aren't given any names for some reason. W lifetime. Contracts. I don't know how contracts will work. And then some other things. Anyway, but yeah, just wanted to have a quick look at that. Because that's pretty cool. It makes me excited for the future of C++. I still think, you know, the world would benefit from a better, you know, a new language, but in the meantime, this is a good way to keep improving C++. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I guess I'll just end the video there then. Maybe there was something else. I don't know if this is related. Okay, I thought I would go to Reddit. I don't know if this is related, so I'll just quickly have a look at it. I saved a post earlier today. This is important, but that's for the next video. Where's my saved posts? Profile. I wish it was faster to go to saved posts, like just have a thing. Saved. Oh, that's right. Someone made like this massive thing as well for how to write, what's it, a compiler? A parser. Which is a lexer, a pretty printer, 3 interpreters, and 2 compilers. So like, it's kind of wild. I do want to have a look, a read through this, because I think it'd be very interesting. But yeah, just want to have a look at that reflection thing, I guess, and make my first video that is under, under like half an hour. Awesome. Subscribe.